Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Look, after 11 seasons here at the Cubs, I found myself really starting to lack for motivation. So I went to India. I went to see a guru that came highly recommended, and he asked me how did I feel about GMing at the Cubs on a spiritual level, and I stabbed him 48 times. Oh, just with my pen, just with the pen. He's absolutely fine. He's pretty pissed off with me, but otherwise okay. But it was about that time I thought, maybe it's time for me to step away and do something a little bit different.
Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today.
Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain, and for one last time, welcome back to the Chicago Cubs. We will wrap things up today. We'll see who won all the MLB awards, and we might even sim ahead a little bit. I'll resign, and we'll sim ahead a little bit and see what a new GM does with, I think, $100 million to spend on salary. So, as you can see here, it was the Brewers and the Jays going all the way to the World Series, and in the end, it was Toronto that came away with what would be their third World Series, I think. So well done to them. Nice to see the Brewers get beaten, I've got to say. Anyway, this is just horribly disappointing, isn't it? Now, I'm not going to do an end of season awards. The main reason for that is obviously new games coming out, where I'm trying to get things ready for that. I'll do an intro video on exactly what we're doing. It'll be a little bit different to start with, and then we'll come back into something like this. Like I've said before, the Cubs, I can't explain, I can't sort of stress enough. They've broken me as a man, so I just need to do something a little bit different. And I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping everybody will like it, so keep an eye out for that next day or so. I'll have an intro video out for that. So, what I do want to do, though, is show you who you voted as our MVP, because that is very important. I do actually really appreciate people nominating and voting. So, let's see who this MVP was for what was a very disappointing season. And we can see here it was Viskov who you voted as MVP. Just about fair enough, I think. It was definitely one for the pitchers this season. It would have been nice. McQuaid, definitely. I think if we were giving a player of the series, I think McQuaid probably gets that over Vlad even. So yeah, that's. But yeah, I think this season Viskov and Long really were brilliant. It's such a shame they never got the pitch in the postseason. Yeah, maybe we should have short rested someone, but anyway, we can't worry about that now because it's all done and dusted. And to be honest, thank God. So a quick recap of everybody's stats here. We can see if we have a look here, most wins went to Jimmy Long, just ahead of Viskov. What are some of the other major ones here that we would have? We would have most strikeouts. Oh, look at that, one pitch, Long ahead of Viskov. They were both very, very good, weren't they? ERAs. It would have gone to Cabrera, who was quite good, ahead of DJ Murillo. I mean, look at those ERAs. How was this team not won the division at a minimum? Anyway, anything else here that we would give usually as an award? I don't think so. Murillo, 38 saves. Excuse me, is quite impressive, isn't it? Now, if we go and have a look at the hitters, and now Eldridge pops up on this list. All right, so what would be the awards that we would give here? We would have home runs. Vlad, just ahead of McQuaid. That tells the story, doesn't it? Those numbers were way, way down this season. RBIs, looks like Vlad nicked that by 2. If we sort it so you can see everybody in order there. What else would we have? We would have had walks on the other one too, wouldn't we? Anyway, the Golden Anchor. It was McQuaid ahead of Vlad. They're in a league of their own there, though, aren't they? Best batting average would have gone to Peralta, and what a season he's had. If he's not Rookie of the Year this season, then something's wrong. But yeah, that is all of that. So let's skip ahead here now, and I think we'll get to Major League Baseball awards shortly. All right, let's do some Major League Baseball awards. So the Golden Gloves. This is the American League. Curtis Mead, he's the Australian guy, isn't he? So don't recognise any ex-Cubs there. And do we have anybody? The answer to that is yes, in centre field, De Leon. So picking up the PD Crow baton, which is very nice to see. So that's the first Golden Glove for him. So next up, it's Reliever of the Year. So over in the American League, it was Angels Bob Trout. That sounds like a name from the yesteryear, doesn't it? So well done to him. And in our league, it was Blake Rivera of the Mets. Cabrera and Murillo for us got mentioned, but no major awards there for them. Next up is the Platinum Sticks. So over in the American League, Do we recognize, do we have any former Cubs here? It doesn't look like it. And let's have a look at our league. Did anybody pick up anything? And the answer to that is yes, Peralta at second base. He's Rookie of the Year, isn't he? Surely he is Rookie of the Year. And, but no, I don't see anybody else there, which is not surprising, to be honest, with the bats this year. Next up, it is Rookie of the Year, so it's got to be Peralta. So in the American League, it was Luis Graveras. This guy, Graveras, looks a decent prospect, doesn't he? So well done to him. And in the National League, it is not Luis Peralta. It is this guy, Duncan. I'm sorry, guys, but no, you've got that wrong. 33 home runs, I guess, but no, Peralta was Rookie of the Year. I'll stand by that. That's ridiculous. So Manager of the Year, Errol Flynn of the Jays, obviously, and in our league, it was Padres' Tony Diaz that has won it. Next up, it is Cy Young. So in the American League, it's Ricky Tiedemann of the Jays, ahead of a few familiar-ish names there, but no former Cubs. And in the National League, it was Chris Lezon, the guy that I really did try to get. He has won it, and Jimmy Long was up there, but no Visman, which is maybe a little bit surprising. But anyway, there we go. MVP is the final award. And in the National American League, sorry, it was Olimpio Canesta who has won it. I don't know if we ever come across him. Whoa, look at that. I wonder if he'd be the first Brazilian to win an MVP, I would imagine. He is quite good, isn't he, at third baseman? So, no, it's the Reds. Well, I was saying is that where De La Cruz came from, but no, it's the Reds that he came from, wasn't it? What a player he looks. Unbelievable. And in the National League, it was so Rookie of the Year and MVP. So, yeah, a bit of a rough one there for Peralta, who was right up there in MVP voting as well. So he's had a stunning rookie year, and he's walked away with a silver slugger, and that's about it. So that is very, very harsh on Luis Peralta. Anyway, what else we got coming up here? Hall of Fame. We'll see. We'll get something else, I'm sure. All right, so free agents have been filed. Now, it had been my intention to try and sort of play through a little bit and see what sort of team we could put together for a next season. Unfortunately, time is going to get the better of that. What I can't make any promises. It's just very, very busy in the Villain household right now. So these are the players that would be available. We'll sort of have a quick scroll down so that you can have a look here. Now, we have over 100 million to spend. I did stop Pinto and Khalil Watson from going to free agency, so we got those guys on deals for pretty much what they were already on, so they were okay to agree to that. Vlad, though, we did let go because I just think Vlad is an aging player at this point, and I think we are seeing his numbers fall. You can see here, fragile, 20 million. I mean, he'd come back to us. I just don't know that we would necessarily want him back. His batting average has been going down, as has his home runs. Excuse me, for the most part. So I think that, unfortunately, it has happened to everybody. The Vlad horse has, I think, for us, sailed. So, yeah, that is that. This guy looks a decent prospect, doesn't he? So yeah, that is what would be available to us if we were to continue. Obviously, we would have the option of trades and whatnot. It's not a classic year for free agents, but certainly not a bad one. There's some decent players still, all the way down here. So we're still at 2.5-star players. So yeah, that is where we would be at if we were to continue. But unfortunately, as happens every year, this is where we have to draw the line. So as I said, we do have money to spend, 96 million after arbitration. So yeah, as I've said many times, I don't know why we didn't win anything with this team. It just feels like it's been good enough to do so for a long time, and we never managed it. But if you have got this far and suffered with me, thank you so much. Like I say, there will be something coming up for the new one, which I believe is out at some point tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure UK time, particularly what time that's going to be, and if it's sort of a nighttime release on the west coast of America, I'm not going to get it till sort of Wednesday afternoon UK time. So there might be a little bit of a turnaround time before we get things going on the next one, but it will be back. I've made that decision. I've pre-ordered, so I've spent the money. I might as well use it. And yeah, so that is that. Thank you very much. Short and sweet to wrap things up here. And yeah, that is our time at the Cubs to a close. Take care and thank you.